Friends, welcome back to the channel, man. As always, I am stoked to see you. So we're looking at the Army Times, and we're talking about sexual harassment and sexual assault. All right, friends, so here we get back into it. Looking at this month's Army Times, and wanted to look at a few articles that were in here. Of course, I had to laugh when I read this thing. Not an official U.S. Army publication. It says right there. I mean, no kidding. But I guess some folks thought that it was an official. It says Army, so it must be official, right? But I think what kind of caught my attention was the changes looming in the military justice system. And there's actually a couple articles in here about some activities down at Fort Hood. And so I'll summarize. I'm not going to read the whole thing. But so in Vanessa's unit down there, there was a couple other sexual harassment charges that were brought in, not by her, but by other people in the unit, I think is what this is saying. And it says that the command didn't do anything about the allegations. And there's some other sexual assault that had happened as well. And again, everybody, the reports are finding that nothing happened. And so, obviously, the tragic outcome of Vanessa and her story is something that still a lot of people are trying to grapple with and understand how something like this could happen on our watch. But fast forward from that case into another article in here, and it's talking about a DOD's special review panel that was put together in the Pentagon. And let's see if I can find this one. We'll talk about that one too. Not big changes for striker brigades. Walking a fine line. Interesting story. Man, there's one too, right? The Staff Sergeant Hughes. This kind of leads into it as well, though, right? You get the Staff Sergeant who's accused of rape, like being a serial rapist, and ended up, getting away with it for quite some time. Command even knew about it and did do nothing but give him a GOMAR at one point in time, and he's in jail now. Right, so time to review the military's justice system. And so the Pentagon had this panel that was put in back in February by Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin, right? Who is also a former service member, right? And so this conversation goes back decades of Congress, of the civilian population pushing the Pentagon, pushing the Department of Defense to release authority of handling sexual assault cases to somebody outside of the chain of command. And which makes it, outside the Uniform Code of Military Justice. And so there's, up until this point in time, at least, there's been a lot of pushback against that. Like, no, we have this, we'll do it, and then we'll hold commanders accountable when they don't, has been the mindset. So now, one of the things that the Pentagon has proposed in their findings is that maybe that's exactly what needs to happen. So this is kind of historic, right? This is kind of never happened for the Pentagon to say that maybe commanders should be removed from the decision-making process of whether or not to prosecute. Now, this could go in a couple different ways, right? This could go to remove the handling from the military altogether, which I don't see happening. Or maybe just remove commanders, and maybe it's a a JAG officer, an inspector general, or who knows? It's not going to be IG, but I mean, that says push forward or not. Maybe they'll just put it in the hands of your legal department, and then somebody will have to ask, at which level, which team, or is it a separate entity altogether that looks at this? So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens. Look forward to hearing your comments down below about handling of sexual assault cases and Vanessa's story, and some of the and Army Times even goes on to say that even she had reported some allegations of some harassment as well. On what you think and how these things should be handled. It's going to be interesting to play out, because I think there's also been some recent emails and publications or whatever, nothing official. It says that maybe even sexual harassment is justification for being separated from the military. So it can be an interesting thing to see how this happens. Interesting thing. I'm looking forward to it. And I think a change of some kind is long overdue, and I think it's one of the challenges. As I was talking to some troopers yesterday, one of the challenges for all of us is to remember that we're not the decision maker. And it's easy to armchair solutions. It's easy to be the best legal defense dude. It's easy to be the best Secretary of Defense when it's not actually our job and we don't have all the facts. So I'm going to caution you, like I caution myself, like I caution everybody else, to not be so quick in judgment of whatever decision that comes out. And remember that, especially if you're a non-commissioned officer, your job is to execute those orders and regulations and support them, right? I mean, that's what we're here to do. And if you don't want to, there's a great transition program, to quote the Sergeant Major of the Army. So, hey, I'm going to cut this one short, just talking about this quick article from the Army Times. So a couple closing questions for you. A, do you read the Army Times? I try not to, but I do for this channel. B, what do you think about the possible changes in how we handle sexual harassment and sexual assault? And of course, C, any closing thoughts on Vanessa's case? Always look forward to continuing this conversation so we can master our craft and develop our tactical virtue. Man, I appreciate all you guys, man. You stay out there, you keep grinding, and you stay stoked.